Hey there, and welcome to Hello Country. My name's Mike, and right there's Papa Country himself. Hi, buddy.
Howdy, Mike. How are you today?
I am doing okay. We are connected by the country internet via Zoom today, as still we are in the midst of social distancing and trying to do the best we can in keeping everybody safe. You guys are all good over there?
We are all good. Yeah. It's on the verge of back to school, so that's a whole new normal that we're gonna start to get used to pretty quick.
Yeah, that's true, man. This is unfounded territory here. You're going to have to get into a whole new world of educating on a full-time basis again, which is interesting because the kids have been off on their dirt bikes and playing around in the fields, barely wearing clothes based on the shows that we do. There's always somebody streaking around your house there.
I call it the uniform. Yeah, the little guy wears his uniform.
Oh, that's his uniform.
Yeah, it's his uniform.
Oh, natural.
His birthday suit. Yeah.
His birthday suit. Yeah. But yeah, that's going to be a new realm entirely. And of course, fall is on the way as we record this. I'm going to encourage you to have a look at hellocountry.ca. Hello Country Magazine is a good read, and it's a great website as well. There's a bunch of podcasts on this series that you can already listen to. Last week, we talked to Davin Gross, who he's been your right-hand man all summer, basically, hasn't he?
Yeah. I've been hanging out with Davin a lot up at Moto Park Racing Facility in Chatsworth. He owns the mechanic shop called Motomech there, and I've been spending a lot of time and money with Davin, which is great. He's a good guy. He's a motocross athlete, pretty cool dude, and we had him on the Hello Country podcast most recently. So I'd encourage everybody to take a listen to that one as well.
Go ahead and subscribe. Hello Country, anywhere you listen to podcasts, there we are. Every week we have a guest on the show, and this is kind of a big deal because my buddy, Papa Country, I mean, really what he wants more than anything in the world is to live in the country, and that's a new experience for you.
It is.
And the other thing that you want is a tractor.
Yep.
That was like number one on your list, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, pickup truck and a tractor. Yeah, absolutely.
But now you realize that it's all fun to have those, and they look great in the commercials, but they are necessities. And as you make your way to the country, depending on the property that you live on, you may just find that you have some work to do that a tractor will come in real handy for, especially as winter arrives, getting things ready in the fall. And I think, what was your experience when you moved out to the country? You had no tractor. How did that all operate for you? And what was your discovery process, Roger, in arriving there?
Yeah, I discovered it the hard way. Let's put it that way. So we moved up here in the middle of November in a snowstorm, and we got more snow than I've ever seen in my entire life, which is kind of funny because our new neighbors and locals up here kind of laugh at me when I say that, because apparently it was a mild winter up here last year.
Oh, I see.
But no. Yeah, right. So here I am trying to shovel 4 feet of snow with a hand shovel. And my neighbors roll in, both of them with their big tractors and snowblowers hooked up to the back of the tractor, which I had never seen in my life before. I didn't know that was a thing. And they're blowing snow for me and helping me out. And they did that a bunch of times this winter. So one of the first guys I called was our next guest to hook me up with a tractor and some implements. And he and I had been chatting for quite a while. He's actually one of the first guys that I talked to here about, getting me set up on the farm. And he's been very gracious with his time and real nice guy. His name is Tyson Rier, and he's in sales over at the John Deere dealership at Huron Tractor in Chatsworth. Tyson, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you something right now. Tyson, I've heard about you for some time. We happen to make this podcast, and in the process, I'm fascinated by the big machinery element that you kind of need when you get back into the country life. And if you've never done that before, trying to find somebody that can walk you through it and get you just what you need, I would imagine that is real important, Papa Country.
It is, Mike. It is, and looking at purchasing a tractor is intimidating on a couple of levels. To start, they're not exactly cheap. And secondly, I had no idea what I needed. I mean, like, I'm a city boy born and bred. I've been told I have a country soul, which I find is a wonderful compliment. So I feel like in a lot of ways I fit in nicely up in the country, but in such an ignorant way, it's very laughable. So I really had no idea what I needed in the way of a tractor or the implements that I needed to go along with that tractor. So Tyson, man, I give you a lot of credit. You're very patient with me. I love the way that you communicated with me, and you're extremely helpful and just kind of guiding me through the things that I need or didn't need, and walking me through the process. And I ended up getting a subcompact tractor, a John Deere 1025R, which I love. It does the trick for us on a 13-acre property. And Tyson's been instrumental in hooking me up with a few implements to go along with it. So thank you, Tyson, for all your work, man. It's nice to talk to somebody who you've, like I said, been very patient with me, and I'm sure I asked a lot of silly city boy questions, but it's been good.
Let's address that. So Tyson, what's it like? I mean, a guy walks in, he's never been on a farm really in his life, a working farm, even if it's just, a hobby farm, like we're talking about, this requires a bunch of equipment. What do you do on your end? Do you begin to assess the situation, and where do you go from there?
Yeah, so we would do kind of a needs assessment with you, kind of go over what you have for a property, what you're going to want to do, and as well now as down the road, what you're going to want to do. I mean, we kind of want to size a tractor that's going to meet all those needs, right? So, with horses and different other livestock, I mean, you're going to want to move some bales, you're going to want to move some manure. I mean, you're going to have some, maintaining the sand rings. There's going to be lots of different things, as well as, some general, even right down to cutting the grass and blowing the snow. So we try and kind of address all the needs at once.
And is this something that, by and large, there aren't different, hey, listen, here come the city questions. There aren't a bunch of different tractors. You get the tractor that basically suits your needs, and that's all of the implements that then are attached to and then used with that tractor?
So basically what we do, I mean, there's a wide variety of sizes of tractors and series of tractors. So once we settle on a size and a horsepower, then we can size the correct size implements. I mean, they make a snowblower for your everyday riding lawnmower all the way up to, your 500 horse big ag tractors and everything in between. So once we determine kind of the size, we spec out those implements to be kind of made it up, so to speak.
What's the size of the tractor that you have, PC?
It's a 1025R.
1025R. And so what does that go for?
So depending on options and configurations, I mean, they're, most commonly we sell them, they're, in that $20,000 to $30,000 range, depending on options and accessories that are added to it.
That's way more reasonable than I thought.
Oh yeah. Well, they're John Deere is a big player in this market, and I mean, they make them attractive because they want them to be affordable to, large property owners, I guess, is kind of our target market with those. So yeah, they try and keep them as affordable as you can, and they also hold their value, which is a great selling feature for us. You can come back in 2, 3, 5 years down the road, and your investment, hasn't dropped, or not by much.
Really? Oh, that's great.
It's crazy.
Okay, so when you buy a farm, Papa Country, are you guys budgeting in the purchase of the farm this equipment, or did this land on you like, oh, I gotta buy a tractor? This is not an expense I expected.
We did not budget for the tractor. I thought I could do a bunch of this stuff with a wheelbarrow and a shovel and a poo rake. Mm-hmm. And again, there's that's the ignorant city guy talking. So I learned pretty quickly that we needed a tractor. And I looked at compact tractors, subcompact tractors, and this one looked like it fit the bill. And because we didn't really budget for it, I needed to go a bit smaller in terms of cost. But man, oh man, I don't think I could run this farm without it. And to be quite honest, any job I do on the tractor is my favorite job on the farm. Sitting on that tractor is, how should I say this? I do a lot of my best thinking when I'm on the tractor. It gives me an opportunity to bond with my boys because they'll jump on and I can teach them how to drive and how to do different jobs, and they quite like it. Even the little guy who's 2 years old knows how to steer a tractor now, which is fantastic. So
Well, what
it
about
was,
that, Tyson? How about learning to operate these fairly sizable machines? Do you guys get involved in that process as well?
Yeah, 100%. So before a tractor leaves, or we leave it with at the customer's place, we go over them, all the safety features, how to take, the loader on and off, for example, how to hook up different implements, even just the operation of them. And I mean, John Deere's done a great job of keeping them fairly simple to run, so to speak.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long to get on to how to operate that tractor safely.
And so now a wide range of product, and John Deere, obviously, it's the name that I know in the business. The other ones I have to really think about. But, I have a John Deere hat. I don't have a tractor, but I got a John Deere hat. It's a widely known brand. I would imagine that makes it easy to get people in to look at products. But what cuts John Deere apart from the rest in a competitive marketplace for tractors?
So especially on our little guys, like our 1 Series, like what Papa Country has, it's the features, the quick park loaders, some of our mower decks, the way they come on and off underneath it, and just the ease of changing out these implements. They're geared towards somebody that's not your everyday farmer who's very familiar with how to do this. These are geared more to not necessarily newcomers to the area, but a lot of first-time tractor buyers that aren't as familiar. So they want to make them as user-friendly as possible. And then also the service, not only within our Huron Tractor organization, but John Deere as a whole. Their parts and service side of their business is second to none.
And what about buying a new tractor? Does there a certain amount of service come associated with that? Is there an overall plan that you find yourself getting to maintain the tractor? How does that all operate?
So a lot of it's very similar to a car. I mean, we have service intervals. 100 hours, 50 hours, 400 hours, all different service intervals. Pretty straightforward though. Change your engine oil. Basic maintenance, very similar to a car. They've got some grease fittings, which you just keep grease to. And yeah, I mean, for the most part, we see most of our stuff back here for service that we sell. So that's another service we offer is, we'll come out, either fix it or repair whatever needs done at your place, or we'll put it on a trailer and bring it into the shop and go over it here.
I think it's really cool that you got the exact tractor that you need, Papa Country, because like you said, in the early days, it was some slogging, especially in the spring. There's a lot of rain associated with the spring. I was delighted to hear that a tractor was part of the mix for you, because I already knew that was going to free up a chunk of your day. That's worth consideration as well, I would imagine.
I think it's paid for itself in spades so far. I mean, I just couldn't do the jobs that I do without it.
Yeah.
And it's a heck of a lot of fun. I suppose maybe if you grew up around tractors and you've been riding them since you've been a young kid, maybe it wouldn't be so novel, but it's the novelty has not worn off for me. It's extremely enjoyable. And to know that I can just pick up the phone and call Tyson and say, hey, there's I'm looking at maybe upgrading one day. Can we chat about that? Sure, no problem. If there's an issue, I can call the service guys. Like Larry dropped off a rotary cutter for me, taught me how to hook it up, and there'd be no way I could cut the grass on this property without it. So from a service perspective, like the service of Huron Tractor is phenomenal. And just having a John Deere is kind of a cool thing. Like you said, like everybody knows the brand, it's reputable and extremely high quality.
The other thing is, you raised a good point. With little kids around, having a tractor, that's all kids want to look at all day long. I've had little kids. I should have got a tractor. I would have been able to keep them amused for hours just going back and forth. You've been in tractors your whole life, Tyson? You're a young guy, but I mean, is this something that you got into naturally because you were, out there in Chatsworth on a farm and ready to go in this industry?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, my family owned a dairy equipment business, so we put in equipment into dairy barns. So I kind of grew up around tractors and other machinery, and then I went off to school actually to become an auto mechanic,
Oh,
and then transitioned from that into vehicle sales, and then back kind of into the ag world and into the tractor world again. Now, so yeah, I mean, I've grown up around equipment and grew up running it. So yeah, but you know what? I still get excited every time I get a chance to drive one.
I'll
So
bet. Yeah. I can't imagine that goes away, man. There's just no way. That's just too. Papa Country, would you teach me how to drive the tractor when I come out?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Tyson's right. They make them pretty simple.
Oh, okay, good.
So yeah. Even we can figure it out, Mike.
Oh, good. That's what I want to hear. See, this is like I know that seems like a small thing, baby, but Papa Country, that a tractor is a block for people who've never been on one. I can't drive that. I'm going to kill myself. There's going to be an issue. I don't know how to use all the gear. I don't even know. No, it's not like that, and you're living proof of it. And Tyson's approach to it there is like, yeah, no, we'll get you set up. It's not a problem. By the time you get a tractor, you'll know what you're doing with it. That is a confidence booster for somebody who wants to get into country life, frankly.
Yeah. And I think if I could offer any advice in the way of purchasing a tractor, number one, call Tyson. Number two, look at something new, right? Because I think these newer models, Tyson, I'm sure you can attest to this, but the newer models are made pretty simple to operate, correct?
that's correct. And John Deere does a good job of making them affordable, as we touched on before. And they've got, some 0% financing even. I mean, it's just like buying a car, but
wow,
it's a tractor.
But it holds its value. Yeah, and it's hard to find used John Deere stuff out there or used implements, right?
Because they last.
Break down.
Yeah,
they last. Yeah.
Where can people find you, Tyson, at Huron Tractor in Chatsworth? What's your number?
So my cell phone number is 226-668-2063.
All right, give that to us again, just in case.
Yeah, so it's 226-668-2063.
Go on and visit Tyson over there at Huron Tractor in Chatsworth, and the very least, you'll know more walking out the door than you did walking in, and you'll have a better idea of exactly what you need. Thanks for joining us, Tyson.
No problem. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, there you go, Papa Country. You're all set up with a tractor. A bunch. What implements do you have, by the way? I was going to ask you this.
Yeah. I've got a harrow, which I use to drag on the sand ring, kind of fluff it up, dry it out, make it nice for Mama Country when she rides her horses. I've got a snowblower, which I'm quite excited to use. And I also have a rotary cutter, which I use every week. I think it takes me, honestly, it's probably a 2-day affair to cut the grass here, with the odd interruption with young kids. But it's again, you don't have to tell me twice to cut the grass. Mama Country, she can barely get that sentence out, and I'm on the tractor. See you later.
That's hilarious.
But and then I just Tyson actually just hooked me up with a bale spear. So like even the term bale spear was like not in my vocabulary.
You know what? I see some bale spear jousting in our future if we can get another one of these tractors going.
So, with horses, we're buying round bales, dropping them off. It gets expensive buying ones and twos, right? Because you're paying for the delivery and so forth. And so we want to load up the barn with round bales. So we have them, and it's just more cost effective to do it. But they're super heavy. I've tried rolling them. I've tried pushing them with my loader, which definitely works. But Tyson hooked me up with a bale spear that I can kind of strap on with a chain to the front of my loader, and I could poke it into a bale, lift it up a bit off the ground, and then move it in, because we're going to be moving all the horses into a big paddock in the wintertime closer to the stable. So I need to transport those round bales up from the barn down to that paddock, which I'd look pretty stupid rolling it down.
Especially if it rolled back and just a flat U remains. Well, there you go. Country life. It sounds incredible. Lots of fun. Join us again next week. Another guest on tap, I promise. And don't forget, subscribe to the show. Check out Hello Country, the magazine, hellocountry.ca. And Papa Country, we will catch you next week.
Awesome. Good to talk to you, Mike.
Thanks, my man. Take care.